What's up? More flavor gang. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Hopefully you all are ready for another delicious recipe because I definitely have one on deck. And today we will be making lasagna done more flavors way. But before we get into the video, what I would like for all my new viewers to do is to click on subscribe. And after you click on subscribe, click on that bell notification so that you'll be notified of each and every video that I post. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Okay, as you can see, what I've done first was I brought my water to a boil. I also added oil and salt. So let's add the lasagna noodles. Okay, I'm going to be adding 1 pound of lasagna noodles. Okay, the lasagna noodles are going to cook for 8 minutes. Okay, as you can see, the lasagna noodles are done. So what I have done was I placed the noodles aside in a bowl with ice cold water, and I added some ice to stop the cooking. Okay, this is 2 pounds of ground beef. Now I'm going to add in 1 pound of the Johnsonville Italian sausage. Okay, I personally like to use the ground sausage because it's much easier. What I used to do in the past was I would buy the regular whole Italian sausages and peel them. So this right here is much easier. Okay, now I'm going to add in my green bell peppers, yellow onions, okay, I'm going to sprinkle some adobo, some seasoned salt, not too much because the adobo already has salt in it, some ground black pepper, okay, you want to make sure you're chopping the meat as you're cooking it. You do not want big pieces inside your lasagna, so make sure you're chopping the meat up finely. Okay, as you can see, the meat created some oil, so what we're going to do is drain it. We do not want that in our sauce. Okay, I'm draining the oil from off the meat. Now we're going to put it back in our pan. Okay, what y'all witnessing right now, these two jars, these two brands is straight magic. Let me tell you, when you mix these two together, the Prego Traditional and the Bertolli Tomato and Basil, I would not lie to you. So let's get it in. Okay, that's 1 jar. And this is the second. And I'm going to use half of the Prego. So this is a half a jar of the Prego that I've already poured into the pan. In the first jar, I used the tomato and basil. I used the whole jar for that. Okay, keep in mind that both jars each was 24 ounces and that I used 1 jar and a half. Okay, now I'm going to add a tablespoon of white sugar. I have some fresh parsley that I've already cleaned and chopped. And now I'm going to sprinkle some oregano. We're going to use dry oregano. I also turned my stove down to a low heat. So I'm just going to toss this around and let it simmer for 5 minutes. Okay, now that the meat sauce is done, now let's make the ricotta and cottage cheese combination. I'm going to add 1 cup of ricotta cheese, as you can see here. Okay, that's 1 cup. And then I'm going to do a 1/2 cup of cottage cheese. I love some cottage cheese. I'm not a big fan of the ricotta, but I know when I make my lasagna and I combine the two with a cottage cheese and a ricotta, it is so good. So also, we're going to add 2 eggs. I'm going to sprinkle some salt. Some black pepper. Garlic powder. And some dry parsley. Okay, now I'm going to combine it. I know some of y'all out there like, really, you putting all of that in ricotta and cottage cheese. Why not just add the ricotta and cottage cheese to the lasagna? Well, guess what? We're doing it more flavors way. And when I tell you, it is so good, especially if you don't like ricotta cheese or you're not a fan of cottage cheese. By adding these ingredients, it makes it taste like way better. It just sent it off to another level. And of course, you know, we had to add the egg so it can make everything hold together, stick together. You don't want no loose and runny, extra runny lasagna. So that egg helps. I think I'm going to use my whisk for this last part. Yeah, that way was taking forever. So let's whisk away. We almost there, y'all. Okay. Okay, it's all done. Now let's set it aside and get this pan going. Okay, on to the fun part. As you can see, I sprayed my glass cooking pan with Pam, as you can see here. So let's get it on, y'all. First, we're going to add some meat sauce to the bottom of the pan. Not too much. Okay. You don't want to add too much to the bottom. This is just to, you know, help safeguard it at the bottom, because we don't want to put the new pasta on first. Okay, now start adding the pasta noodles, the lasagna pasta noodles. You want to overlap it a little bit, as you can see what I'm doing here, because you don't want it falling apart when you're cutting into it to make slices. So that means I have 4 going across. Okay, so I'm gonna sprinkle some mozzarella and provolone cheese. Just gonna sprinkle some, not too much, because we're gonna need some cheese for the top. So there you have it. And now we're gonna go back in with our meat sauce. We want this thing stacked to the top. Notice how I always say we in my videos. The reason why I say we, because I always assume that you guys are doing the videos with me. So that's why I always include we. Okay. Put some more. I don't want to be too stingy with the meat sauce. Spread it, spread it, spread it. Now it's time for that ricotta and cottage cheese combo, y'all. So what we're going to do, we're not going to spread this. What we're just going to do is going to add little dollops. Spread it out on a lasagna, because when you cook this, it's going to spread anyway, so you don't want to just slather it all across the lasagna. So you're just going to add dollops. I told y'all before, I cook for real in this kitchen. I usually make lasagna maybe like once a year, but now that my husband been kind of requesting it, you know, I've been taking special orders, so I've been making it at least 2 to 3 times a year now. But I try not to overdo it, because you know, too much pasta isn't always good, but I love pasta, so I don't mind. Okay. So this time we're not going to add the cheese. We're just going to go straight in for the meat sauce. Make sure we spread it out. Can't get too carried away. Okay, now we're gonna add the dollops again of the ricotta and cottage cheese. Y'all, by the way, it is so good. Of course, you know I taste tested it each and every time I cook it. All right. Let me just put one more over here in this little corner. All right. Now, what I'm going to do is we're going to top it off with the meat sauce. You straighten this a little first. All right. And then I'm going to lastly top it off with the cheese. Okay. Now it's time to top it off with some mild cheddar cheese. That's one layer of mild cheddar cheese. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover it with aluminum foil and place it in the oven for 45 minutes on a temperature of 350 degrees. So let's get to covering the lasagna. You want to leave some room in between the lasagna and the aluminum foil so that the cheese won't stick to the aluminum foil. Cover it. You don't want to press down on it. Remember, you don't want the cheese sticking to the aluminum foil. So I don't know if you can see, but I did create some room in between the two. So now, like I said before, let's place this in the oven for 45 minutes, temperature of 350 degrees, and I'll see you back. Okay, it has been 45 minutes, so I took the lasagna out the oven. So what we're going to do is pull that aluminum foil back and add the remainder of the cheese. So I have, like I said before, the mozzarella and provolone cheese. Just going to sprinkle that on. Spread it out. I'm going to add some mild cheddar cheese. Spread that out as well. Now I'm going to add one more layer of the mozzarella cheese. I like my lasagna extra cheesy, so I spare no expense when it comes to cheese. Okay. And now I'm going to sprinkle some parsley. Grab that parsley. Okay, now without the aluminum foil, we're going to place the lasagna back in the oven for 15 minutes and then take it out. And then it's going to cool for another hour. And then we're going to cut it. And it's going to be ready to serve. Okay, y'all. The lasagna is all done. So what I'm going to do is let it cool for about a good hour. And I'm going to come back and cut you a slice. Okay, there you have it. Lasagna done more flavors way. Y'all get into it. Get into all that meat and cheese. I cannot wait to tear this down. Y'all, it tastes as good as it looks. I would not lie to you. Y'all see that cheese got that drip? Drip, drip. But anyways, y'all, get in the kitchen and try this. You will not be disappointed. You will not be disappointed. Like I mentioned before in the previous video, in all my videos, make sure you comment, like, and share. And as always, I thank you for watching the More Flavor channel.